Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video, and in this video we're going to learn how to create this YouTube subscribe button. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so first of all we're going to start off by grabbing this subscribe, let's look up a subscribe button on Google, and then you're going to grab that image and paste it into your document. Okay, and then now you're going to create a new layer, as I have already created here on the right hand side, and we're going to call it stroke. That's what we're going to do all our strokes first, and then copy it to color. So now what you're going to want to do is hit your M button on your keyboard or your rectangle tool on the left hand side of my screen, as you can see right here. Rectangle tool, select that. Now we're going to go ahead and create a rectangle about this size. Like, right, that's good enough right here. A longer rectangle, and now we're going to center on the page. And let's actually make this better. Let's make this 1500. We'll make this 1500 by 500. We'll get some nice even numbers. So if you want, make your rectangle at 1500 pixels wide by 500 pixels tall, and let's just center it again, like I said. And now we're just gonna get rid of our stroke fills, of our fill color, and we're gonna go ahead and add a stroke of 8 points, 8-point stroke. And then instead of this black color, this what do you call it, RGB black, we're gonna go ahead and go to CMYK, and all of these just make them 0. All your numbers are gonna become 0. And then for the K slider, all the way to the right, 100%, and now you have black, but it's not pitch black, like it's not that RGB dark black, because that seems to hurt people's eyes on the internet. So we kind of want this lighter black, but it's all still black. So now what we're gonna want to do is grab your rectangle and hit C on your keyboard or the corner tool on your toolbar, and then what you're gonna want to do is highlight all your nodes, all 4 corners of your rectangle, and then just hold and drag slightly these corners right here, and to round off the corners. All right, see how nice that looks, nice and rounded. And now we're gonna go ahead and create this YouTube play button right here. So what we're gonna want to do is go ahead and just copy your rectangle. So in order to duplicate it, Control J on your keyboard, Shift Alt and Control, hold all those 3 buttons and just drag it down, and it'll resize it from the middle. And then now it's pretty much a square, so we're just gonna go ahead and just grab it from the sides and bring it in a little bit. So we're gonna go ahead, as you can see on our transform panel right here, again on the bottom right hand side. So we're just gonna go ahead and just do 425 width by 280 height exact, and maybe we're just gonna go ahead, the width, maybe instead of 425 we'll do 420. Now we'll do 410 width, there we go, and it's a little bit closer to that. And it doesn't have to be exact, but it has, and just drag it, hold shift and drag to the left, and we'll just put it right about here. That looks good to me. And instead of 8 points on this guy, we're gonna go ahead and do a 4-point stroke. And that is too thin actually, so we're gonna go ahead and do 6-point stroke. Alright, and then now all we need is the subscribe, the word subscribe. Alright, so let's do that. We're actually gonna make this guy a little bit smaller. Just make it smaller like this, and then boom, there we go. And now we need the word subscribe, so hit your toolbar, your text tool, hit T on your keyboard, and then just put it in the middle and just click once. And we're gonna do Arial, and we're gonna hit subscribe. Type in subscribe. Oh yeah. But as you could tell, that is very small, so we're just gonna go ahead and make this, and let's see, about, we'll do 36 points. And then we're gonna just go ahead and grab it and just drag it right here. Shabam. About right there. So it looks pretty centered between this edge and between the play button. And we forgot to add our triangle, so we're gonna go ahead and just do our triangle. So go to your, again, to your toolbar on the left hand side and hit triangle. And if you don't, it's gonna be below your rectangle, your ellipse, and your rounded rectangle tool. It's gonna be this last one right here. You're gonna click it, and you see how it's got this little white arrow on the corner, on the bottom right hand corner. You're just gonna want to left click on it. Right click on it, and then you're just gonna go to triangle tool, and then there you go. There's your triangle tool. So now just hold Shift Alt and just drag it for perfect proportions, and then just grab, you just rotate it by -90 degrees. So now this top piece is pointing to the right. You're gonna drag it down into your rectangle, and then we're just gonna make this guy a little bit smaller though. So hold Shift Control Alt to make it small from the center, and then we're just gonna center it so it looks optically centered, because you can't be centered mathematically on this guy, because what do you call it? It won't make sense. It won't look centered optically if you do it through Affinity Designer's automatic software, you know. And so now look at that, we got our subscribe button. It looks pretty nice, and we could go ahead and make this guy a little bit bigger. So we'll just go ahead and do our 42 point stroke, 42 points, and then just V and bump it over to the left a few times while holding Shift, left arrow key. And there we go. It looks pretty nice to me. We have our nice subscribe button, and now we go ahead and select your whole stroke layer and hit Ctrl J, and then just gonna go ahead and rename that bottom layer to color, because we want the stroke to be on top of everything, and then hit Ctrl L on the top stroke layer. That way it locks the layer and you cannot move it, so we cannot accidentally press our strokes. And then now what we're going to do is go ahead and go to our very outer triangle curve and get rid of the fill, the stroke color, and we're going to go ahead and just grab your eyedropper tool and go to that color, boom, on your subscribe button reference, and just click that red, and now you have that red color. Nice. Look at that, so nice. Wow. So now we're just gonna go ahead and grab that YouTube play button rectangle and do the same thing. Get rid of the stroke, the stroke color, and just turn it to white. There you go. Wow. And for the triangle, we're gonna go ahead and just again get rid of the stroke, and then turn it to we'll turn it red, because we're gonna make it red. So just go ahead and grab that red color again, and now it looks like it's cut out. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Wow, look at that. And the same thing with this subscribe button. We're gonna go ahead and go to our stroke layer, hide the subscribe text in the stroke layer, and then the color layer, our subscribe text, we'll go ahead and just do it white. Wow, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. We're just gonna bump this over a little bit one more time. There you go. Beautiful. That's a beautiful subscribe button, if I do say so myself. And now we're gonna go ahead and just add some beautiful details now. So just make a new layer, and we're gonna go ahead and do our shadow source. So we'll call it shadows. And then now what we're gonna want to do is go ahead and just grab your rectangle, your colored rectangle, and then hit copy. So Control C, and then go back to your shadows layer, Control V, and then we're gonna go ahead just Control J to make a copy of it, and then drag it like so, and then hold Shift and select both of your colors in your shadow layer. And then now what we're gonna do is go up here and hit subtract, and now you see it makes this funny shape. So we're just gonna go ahead and turn that into pretty much black, and then lower the opacity halfway opacity. There you go. And then to give it to make it look a little bit better, we're just gonna go ahead and add some, make us like add some curves to this guy itself, you know, kind of just play around with these curves, you know, so you kind of give it a more natural look. And then this guy, you could get rid of this one actually, and we'll just do this and just play around with it. There you go. And you just give it a nice little shadow look, you know, just play around with that shadow, play around with the curves, give it some organic shape to it, some nice look to it, and that looks pretty good to me. So now what we're going to want to do is go ahead and you're going to want to grab, you're going to go back to your curve, your shadow layer, I mean, and then just hit P. And now we're just going to create one little shadow up here. And so just make a straight line and then make that same dark color. Again, we're going to go ahead and make it about 25, like maybe 15% opacity. And we'll do a little bit more, like about 25. And then on our stroke pressure, we're going to press this, add a node right here in the middle and bring down the edges. And then we're going to go ahead and turn this into a 15-point stroke. And then now, look at that. You got a nice little shadow right here. That's pretty cool. And then we'll just make it a little lighter actually. Just bam, there you go. And then now, what we're gonna wanna do is the same thing with this YouTube play button. So we're just gonna go ahead and hit our pen tool again. We're gonna zoom in on this subscribe button. And then we're just gonna go ahead and create a backward L shape. And then we're just gonna go ahead and make this a little bit more. So we'll do about here for our opacity, a little higher the opacity a bit, and then just thin out these edges on our pressure tool again. And then I don't know, it created another. There you go. Bring down the center one, and then go to this node right here. Select this node. So hit A on your keyboard. Select that corner node, and we're gonna go ahead and convert it to smooth. There you go. And this is just another little shadow, and we're just gonna go ahead and play around with this guy like this. There you go. And then we're just gonna go ahead and convert this into a 8-point stroke, and there you go. And then now we're just gonna go ahead and create a highlight. So just create a new layer above your shadow layer and call it highlight. And then grab your pen tool and just make another straight line like that. And then just gonna turn it white. And again, we're gonna make a 15-point stroke. And then now we're just gonna flip this guy around. Boom, there you go. He's flipped around, and higher the opacity to more than halfway, so about 75% opacity. And then just bump this guy up a little bit, and there you go. Now you have your subscribe button. Look at that. Wow, it's so nice, isn't it? Wow. And then our stroke, our inner stroke for this triangle, we're just gonna go ahead and lower it a little bit, the width of the stroke to 4 point. There you go. Now that's a lot better. Wow, look at that. Beautiful subscribe button. And so that's how you create a subscribe button. Well, in Affinity Designer. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did. Comment something down below, whether it sucked or it was good. I don't know. That's up to you. And then go ahead and just share if you found this helpful as well. You know. And if you do that, if you do all of that, I'll give you a picture of this frog. All right. Well, I'll see you later. Have fun. Goodbye.